1,300 and... Oh, I touched it. Sorry. It can't wait because I touched it. Hey, make up your mind. It can't wait again. Around 1,330 grams. And 46.9 ounces, so almost 3 pounds in the box. Woohoo! This might be the most money I've ever spent on a Bible. I'm not really sure. It's up there. I'd say it's in the top 3, or maybe the top 4. And I'm kind of excited about it. I have not opened this box yet. But I'm a little concerned, just a little, because my Cambridge Bibles up until this point, which I bought new, were, with one exception, which I sent that one back, wrapped with plastic. This one was not, so we'll see how that goes. This is the, as you can see, New Revised Standard Version. It includes the Apocrypha. It is the burgundy goatskin leather edge-lined, and the liner is made of cat. No, that's a cat. The liner is also leather. So let's have a look at the box. I'm eager to get into it, but let's be thorough. So the New Revised Standard Version, so far, I'm okay with it. Just, I know there are a few spots where I might not like the gender choices. The translators slash the people who made the Bible made. But I like to use a lot of translations, and I'm excited to have a Cambridge that's has a leather liner. Okay, so the New Revised Standard Version is a scholarly authoritative translation following in the tradition of the King James Version, the Revised Version, the American Standard Version, and the Revised Standard Version. Like these, it is a literal translation true to the original text. And that's kind of been my experience too. I've thought of it as more word for word with a bit of thought for thought, as opposed to the opposite. But Mike Winger in his video says it's much more of a dynamic translation. He knows more than I do. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. But when I've used it for study, I found it to be pretty good as far as the word for wordness of it. But I've taken a long break from it. So my only complaint, without having looked at it myself, is it doesn't have a standard concordance. It has a glossary, and we'll take a look at that. But as you can see, it's got the, as I said, the apocryphal deuterocanonical books. That's a mouthful. References, footnotes, glossary, thin, strong, and opaque paper. Hopefully line matched. I assume it is because it's, Cambridge. Presentation page, which I like Cambridge's presentation page because it's very simple. Art gilt page edges, so it's color under the gold. Map section to ribbon markers. I think these are good ribbons, actually, as opposed to the ones that they usually use. Sewn binding, and yeah, let's do this. Okay, does this show the, no, here's the ISBN. ISBN for the NRSV. You got that? The NRSV ISBN. Okay, I'm gonna open it up. All right, well, that's good. That is a good, wow, it's very, very blurry white. Why are you so blurry? Stop being so blurry. There we go. Oh, cat is coming back for more. He smells that goat. Give me some of that goat. Goat. I don't think he's ever had goat before. What are you doing, man? You trying to get into the Word of God? Okay, so it comes with, basically it's wrapped in butcher paper. As, you want your goat meat to be. I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad that it's wrapped. I want it to be wrapped. And I have seen one video where someone was like, well, that's so great. And it is great. But if you're going to wrap it in paper, you could, I don't know, I'm not complaining. But it does look like it's wrapped in butcher paper. And I'm going to try to keep this paper. So, bye-bye paper. That's a good thing because it keeps it from, especially some of the front pages, it keeps them from getting crumpled during shipping. Okay, so when you ship Bibles, like if you sell a Bible or something like that, it's good to do that. So keep that in mind. All right, I can smell the leather already. Got an NRSV mark right there. It's not small, but it's not massive either. And this one has the ribs are indented. I guess that's tooled ribs. I can't remember all the words y'all use, but they're not raised ribs, right? They're the opposite. They're concave. They're inverted ribs. Okay, but it's a classic look, and it feels wicked floppy. I haven't even opened it yet, but I'll put it on top of the box. That's a thing that can be done by me. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold and some allergies happening here, and some shadows. Woo! So first, okay, look how soft the leather is. I'm resisting the non-existent temptation to say the word buttery, because that means I'm not tempted, if you didn't figure it out. Right, and it's not perimeter stitched, and as I've said before, I don't know when and where, but I'm fine with that, because if this comes undone, it's very easy for me to fix it. Whereas if a perimeter stitched one, like the thread fails or whatever, I'm probably not going to sew it back together. Or if I do, I won't do a good job. And I've gotten Bibles. I got one Pitt Minion from Cambridge, actually, and a replacement ESV study Bible, and they both had thread that was coming out, and it's not, I don't know. So perimeter stitching's fine until it's not. This, on the other hand, I mean, you just buy some glue and glue it back down if it comes up. It's not a big deal. So I've really come around on that. I used to think perimeter stitch was all the rage, but I guess if I'm going to put it on the box, I can at least turn it around, right? Okay, so the edge-lined Bibles from Cambridge include an extra little card. Usually you get this one with any Cambridge Bible, pretty much. This one has two, and I will keep that in the box, not in the Bible. I don't know what that is. I will look at this carefully, because I'll send it back if there's any issues. So, and I've been very kind of strict isn't the right word maybe, but with my Allan Bibles recently I've had issues, so let's check this one. Here on the bottom, it doesn't appear at least to be perfectly straight, but it's close enough. It really is very close. Let's turn it around. See how it looks on this side. Okay, so what's going on here is it's a tiny bit. The book block is just ever so slightly higher on the leather, mounted on the leather. So it's toward the top is what I'm trying to say. But it's definitely not a major difference. It's maybe a millimeter or two. So I'll let that pass. As far as this part, it's also not perfectly straight. I won't lie. So as you can see, there's a couple millimeters of black visible there, but as you go along, none. And then back over here. And that's also how the leather's cut, to be fair. But I mean, it's pretty close. We'll see. We'll see how it does over time. But another thing we'll have to see over time is this back part. Sometimes because of the way the book block is cut or mounted, the pages can get stuck underneath this corner and they get a little bit of a lift effect on the pages, but overall it's nothing that I'm too concerned about. I don't know, it's hard to find a perfect Bible. Let's see if the yap, which there is a bit of yap on this, which is nice, is even. It's pretty, yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good all around. It's about 90% symmetrical, and that's definitely within acceptable parameters. So I'm at 8 minutes and I haven't even opened it. I'm sorry. Here we go. Some white pages at the beginning. This is just an unboxing. I'm not going to do a full review on this probably ever, so I'll be more thorough with this one. See how flat it lays. If I can get that. So no crumpling on the pages at the beginning, because of probably thanks to that butcher paper, which is probably not really butcher paper, but that's what it reminded me of. And then there was a whole thing about it being goatskin, So I think this is calfskin on the inside, but I'm not 100% on that. Okay, so 1989, NRSV. Here it says, hopefully it's focused enough. 1997, 2017. It's very clear what's going on. Printed and bound in Italy by LUSCIOUS I, Vicenza. Woo! Lots of letters. It's the LUSCIOUS NRSV. BIBLE. I'm just gonna flip through this and hope that it's focused. I'm looking at a pretty small screen. I'll zoom in a bit. Sorry for the jiggle, jangle, juggle. Don't want to go any closer than that. Should be all right, though. Okay. So, and I like this because it includes in the Apocrypha / Deuterocanonical books from the Greek and Slavonic Bibles that are not in the Roman Catholic canon. So if you're going to do it, you might as well go all out and put all the other stuff in there, right? So I like that. And I won't make further comment. This is to be used for study. All right, reference material, table of weights, measures, vials, glossary, and maps. So since it's a Cambridge Bible, it should have 15 maps in the back, and they're very good. I just want to kind of get through this stuff at the beginning. And let's see, it looks like even this note to the reader is line matched, and it looks nice. It's good opaque paper, as they said. Thanks, Bruce. The Hebrew Scriptures, commonly called the Old Testament. So from now on, maybe I'll try to refer to them as the Hebrew Scriptures. All right, just checking the line matching. It's there, it's good. You can see, I don't know how well you can see, you can probably see pretty well, that there is a bit of show through. And this paper is not supremely opaque. I don't know what the GSM on this paper is. I'm not that guy. Maybe Cambridge has it on their site, I'm not sure. But because it's line matched, it reads very nicely. And it said at the beginning that it's a... Yep, lost that page. Come on now. Typeset in 8 3/4, 9.5 Swift. I think that means it's an 8 3/4 font on a 9.5 typeset. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's bigger than 8 and smaller than 9, right around a 9. So it's not tiny, but it's not big. Okay, now I'm just going to flip a bit faster. Quite a good amount of references, and again, as I've also said before, I really prefer that the references and the footnotes be kept separate when possible, and that's how they've done it here. If we can find a page where there are a lot of references to the point that they overflow, well, that would be good. I still need to properly sort of break in this Bible, but I'm not worried about it. Some people are like, I don't even want to open it until I break it in. I don't think that's an issue. So anyway, yeah, I'm actually surprised. I expected there to be more. Okay, so here's a lot of references on this page. Probably just depends where you are. I reckon if we get into the New Testament, there'll be more for people to argue with themselves about. I'm wondering if there are any pages where the references overflow onto the bottom. It's interesting how they've centered the references. Not the references, sorry, the footnotes. Don't know if I misspoke about that earlier, but in any case, we shall forge on. Just the art gilt is really light. It's almost non-existent. I probably won't do anything to it. But man, you can just barely... If you told me that there is no art gilt, I would probably believe you. Let me see if I can sort of fan out these pages and get them to lay a little bit flatter. And the gold looks pretty nice. It probably could be better too. For a Bible this expensive, I would expect it to be a little bit thicker, to be honest. The art gilt end. So we're at Jeremiah, it doesn't matter. This is, like I said, it's pretty good, but this is not the best gilding I've ever seen. And it's hard to show it on camera, but like right here, there's some places where you can see white. Oh, wow. Up here, I hadn't even looked at this yet. Up here, there's a stain. I really don't want to return this, but that's what Cambridge makes you do. They're like, well, you'll have to return it so we can inspect it and then we'll decide. But that's a thing as well right there. I may contact the seller about that and see what they say. I'm not happy about that. This is a really expensive Bible. Like, it's super expensive. And I ordered it because it was marked down from the, the retail price, but they always are, And I had a moment of weakness. Other than those marks, which almost look like they could be from someone's fingers right there, there's not too much to complain about, but that is something to complain about. Okay, so let's get to the New Covenant, the New Covenant, commonly called the New Testament of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Come on now. Okay, focus happening. In between the Apocrypha, which are here, and the New Covenant, there are these maps which are relevant to the Apocryphal Deuterocanonical books. And they are black and white. And here they are. On the same paper. There aren't a ton of them. Okay, it looks like just the 3. All right, and this is black letter text. I'm still looking for a page where the references overflow. Maybe they just formatted it in such a way that that doesn't happen. I don't know where would be a good place to go. Maybe Romans, because it's so dense. So I don't know, maybe there just aren't any pages where that happens. I was just curious to see how they handled it. But it looks like they handled it by just not having it happen. Maybe they just figured out which areas would have the most and formatted in such a way that they would all fit in the middle. I'm not really sure. You will maybe notice that unlike the wide margin and unlike the, I want to say unlike the Clarion and the Cameo as well, I'm not 100% on this, definitely unlike the wide margin and the Pit Minion, new books start on a new page, and I prefer that. But I'm not too fussed if it's not the case. I just prefer that a new book gets its own new page. That's all. Okay, so we get to the end of Revelation, and then you have weights, measures, and values, and the glossary. Now, it may turn out that this is just basically a concordance, and they're calling it a glossary. Here it starts on page 3. Maybe I should zoom out a tiny bit. And it goes, yeah, that's the map index. So the glossary is only 68 pages, but it starts on 3, so it's 65 basically pages. Here we go. Entries for place names include, where possible, modern names for the same. That's useful. In italics after the Bible references. Biblical references are to the books of the Old and the New Testaments and the Apocrypha. I guess they're saying in that order. So, I mean, this still functions much like a concordance, but it's not quite the same. I like to, let's see, what's something I was looking up recently? Anger, I think, and angry. Some concordances had nothing, some had something. This has nothing. So that doesn't make me angry, but it's unfortunate because that's something that I may or may not struggle with. But I can't find it in this concordance, so I guess I have to get out my iPhone. And it is a bit frustrating to pay this much for a Bible and not even have a proper concordance. But, I'm still looking for the perfect one, and that probably won't be an NRSV anyway. But I really wanted Cambridge with a leather liner and another Bible with the Apocrypha, so now I've got it. I'm going to decide what to do about the marks. I really am a bit unimpressed with this art guilt. It's so, I mean, are you sure about that? It's like they forgot to do it, and then they just were like, whatever. But whatever. I'm just gonna say that to you. So here's your maps. They're on not super shiny paper, but it's a bit thicker. They're all right. I keep moving the camera, I'm sorry. Coming up on 20 minutes. So there you go, your 15 maps, and looks like you got a few more, 8 to 10 pages in the back. This doesn't have a sticker, it's actually a stamp, unlike the Pit Minion. I think even the wide margin is a sticker here, so that's something slightly different. Take a quick look at the liner, make sure there's no rippage. Seems all right. The tail band looks good, headband looks good. All right, obviously it's going to be a sewn binding. It said that on the back of the box as well. You take out the ribbons here. It's very soft and flexible. I just need to, okay, and they're very generous with the ribbons. I don't know if these are Beresfords, but they appear to be double-sided satin, I think 10 millimeter ribbons. Am I right about that? Are they shiny? Yeah, so these are nice, no problem there, and I'm fine with just 2. I'd prefer 3, but I'm not gonna make a fuss about that. I probably won't do anything to this. Okay, there's a little bit of a mark. Oh, it's gonna be hard to show, but again, there's a bit of a mark on the gilt. Cambridge isn't the best for sending Bibles that have a mark-free gilding. I have mixed experiences, but I think I'm just gonna let it go because I'm happy to have it, and it's pretty close to perfect, but I'll give it some thought. I might mention it and see what the seller says. I don't know. But right now, what I want to do is sit down and spend some time reading it. I'm in 2 Corinthians at the moment. Maybe I'll finish it off today. Very nice. I prefer the look of the calfskin without the Apocrypha. That's how they sell them. The goatskin is the only one with the Apocrypha, and without is the calfskin. So I may or may not have ordered that too. I don't know. I was just really excited about these. I didn't know they existed. Or maybe I just wasn't paying attention when I found out about them before. But I've really come to appreciate Cambridge Bibles, and I'm excited to have something besides Pit Minions. So there you go. That's an overly long, I don't know if you call that an unboxing. It's more like a Babel. It's a Tower of Babel. For a nice Bible, really nice Bible. I'm not going to say it's the nicest Bible I've ever seen, but it's among the nicest Bibles I own. Would have been, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted to show you. See how the pages get stuck in that corner work? That's a bummer. But I'll just have to be careful when I'm handling it, and it won't be an issue. I won't be flopping it and throwing it around most of the time, so it won't be an issue. All right, so I give this Bible about an 8 out of 10 as far as my expectations go. There are some things that could have been a bit better, but it's a very nice addition. I'm happy that Cambridge has at least made something with proper ribbons and with a leather liner, not their synthetic liner. So I'm looking forward to using this and spending some more time in the NRSV. Even if I disagree with some of their choices, it's good to be thinking about these things. So if you're still watching, you're amazing. Thank you. Bye-bye.